All right. So there are a couple points I want to bring up for Oma first. Primarily, it's a way of countering Okubo. So Okubo, his primary way of attacking is he has branched out his skills within blows, holds, locks, and throws to a very wide degree. And then on top of that, he decides to use a synthesis of all of these in order to add variety into his attacks. However, I believe that along with some of the more recent information confirmed by Sandrovich, that Omo would be able to counter this due to his superkinetic vision, being able to view the flow of power in his body. Because when Okubo was fighting against Kano Agito, a lot of times he caught him by surprise by suddenly switching up. He'd be going for a hold, and then suddenly he'd hit him with a blow, and this constant changing. However, I do believe that with his superkinetic vision, able to see the flow of power, which gives him foresight to see at least one move into the future, he'd be able to prepare himself for when this sudden change is happening. Maybe not at the beginning of the match, but as the match would go on, he'd be able to adapt to Okubo's constantly changing style.
Alright, my turn now. Just like you said, Okubo has a wide variety of moves in his style, like holds, grappling, but that's what the Battlefield win. Alright, let me start again.
Good.
Now I've presented arguments for why Oma could counter Okubo, now present or how Oma would lose. That Oma, especially in round one, is a very he's an alright fighter. Yeah, if I would put round one Oma in a tier list, it would be at least low B for me because of Nico's style and his kinetic vision. But Oma's Nico's style round one is it's very how do I say this?
Unrefined
It's
is that the
rusty.
term you're looking for?
Yeah, it's kind of Matush. If I remember correctly, Oma can use flame cut. He can use flame cutter and direction cutter, right? I don't remember
And he used
using
adamantite
water.
as well.
Ah,
He was not
does using
using
destructible
water.
in round one?
He used it in the prelims, which means he could use it in uh his round one fight if needed.
One argument I could make is I feel like we should compare the opponents, both Okubo and Oma fought, Inaba and Arito specifically.
Well,
Because
it's not only just Inaba. Sure, it is round one, but I was referring to the strength he was at round one. Before that, he beat Sakabayashi Jun. He beat Medicine Man. He beat Rahito, with obviously the most impressive of it being Sakabayashi. Throughout the fight, he was getting repeatedly slammed through the floor and was able to get up with ease after the first few, which these were concrete shattering throws, and he got kicked into denting a car. Later on in the match, he ends up getting grappled by Sakabayashi and is able to not only break free, but completely destroys some of Sakabayashi's fingers in that process. Of course, he does that using the advance, but for him to be able to damage Sakabayashi, who is over, I think, 120 pounds heavier than Oma, which was confirmed, not only just damage him, but when he was in the advance, he was able to push him back. Like he was able to like move his giant figure.
I agree with you. Ohma in his advanced state could give Okubo relative trouble because of his speed. Because advanced doesn't boost your strength. It only boosts your speed. But I feel like Okubo could defeat him if before Ohma pulls out the advance. Any say anything about this?
Well, how do you think he can defeat him? You just said that you believe he can defeat him, but how so?
Because of the versatility in his fighting style. I
All
think
right.
I think Okubo's MMA is at least better than Omas Nico's time in round one because Omas Nico's time in round one up until that point was very limited. Like
Uh, I mean, it was limited in the fact that he didn't really use the water kata, which is primarily grappling focused. But other than that, he's shown immense versatility within redirection, flame, and adamantite, with redirection even being a specialty. If you remember at the beginning, like at the very beginning of the story, when he fought against what was his name, Deva?
Komada. Is
Yeah,
Komada the Devil King.
yeah, the Deva King. When he fought against him, yes, obviously he's not a like a really grand fighter, but he still had a lot of strength. And Oma, with ease, used the redirection kata to completely destroy his arm by sending the power of his attack back in him. And along with that, as stated before, with Okubo's synthesis, I believe that Oma would be able to catch on to it by using his foresight and being able to read the flow of power and be able to come up with a counter. Along with that, there are not too many feats currently in the story for showing Okubo's defense. Sure, he was up against Kano Agito, who's a extremely powerful opponent, but after taking one kick from Agito, his leg was completely bruised, and on top of that, he was knocked out from a single right hook to the temple, which of course is a powerful blow, and I'm not trying to underestimate that. But with the advance, which increases the torque of Oma's attacks, he could maybe not give a blow of that power, but he can give enough blows in a short amount of time to potentially match that. And seeing how these blows were able to overcome Sekabayashi, who would you agree on a defensive level has a higher defense stat than Okubo? He was able to knock
Seki,
him out.
yes, it's like Seki is like top three most durable fighters.
Yeah, Okubo does not even fall within the top five, I'd say. That probably,
Yeah, but Okubo is pretty good defense, just not on the level of Julius, Waka, and obviously Seki.
And
So his
Oma was
specialists are
able to
pretty.
pull a knockout on Seki, someone who won almost 50 matches consecutively before then. Of course, Seki is also someone that is completely open to taking blows, but he left himself open to taking all those shots, which eventually knocked him out. And along with that, in that fight, Oma did not use the Nico style too much. I reread some of those chapters before this, so that is confirmed.
Um, but one argument I have in Okubo's favor is what if he managed to get, let's say he managed to get Oma into a hold or a ground fight. How do you think Oma uh, would how do you think Oma fight against it?
If he's not able to brute strength his way out, he would then probably push himself to use the advance and break Okubo's fingers. And after his fingers are broken, he wouldn't really be able to grapple him again. And along with that, his strikes would lose a lot of power.
Right.
Do
Yeah,
you have
you
anything
convince
else
me.
to add? My apologies.
Yeah, your arguments are pretty good. So if the information you presented, uh, as of now, I think I've changed my opinion. Well, I think Oma takes it. The advance is really powerful. I think
Yeah, yeah,
that's the
no,
decisive
it is
factor in this fight.
an extremely strong. I'm not saying it would be an easy fight. Okubo would definitely push Oma to use the advance, but the advance is really strong with major drawbacks, of course. But in a one-on-one fight, he won't really need to worry about the drawbacks unless it's extremely drawn out, like with against Ryan.
So you think Okubo would push him to use the level of advance he'll see against Ryan, or do you think he almost use the advanced
I think it'd
level
be
used
around the
against Inaba
same.
or
I think it'd be like.
Seki?
I think he'd be yeah. I think he'd be pushed around the same level he was with Seki. Maybe pushed a little more, but I'd say around that level.
Right. Can we move on to Toa versus Waka?